God is dead. For thousands of years we have believed in religion, but in the modern world, religion has become a shadow of its former self. Nietzsche's dramatic phrase, "God is dead," is meant to capture the shocking and personal quality of this revelation. For those of us raised religiously, religion personalized the world. It gave us the sense that the universe had a purpose, that we were part of a larger plan. It gave us the comfort that, despite appearances, we were all equal and cared for, and that upon death, instead of a cold grave, the possibility of a happily ever after ending awaits us. But we find it hard to believe that anymore. In the modern world, we have seen the dramatic rise of science, providing different, less comfortable answers to the questions that religion traditionally had a monopoly on. We have thrown off the shackles of feudalism with its unquestioning acceptance of authority and knowing our place. We're more individualistic and naturalistic in our thinking. But in historical time, all of this has happened very quickly in the span of a few centuries. For millennia, we believed in religion. But come the 19th century, even the average man has heard that religion may have reached the end of its road. For most of us, even the suggestion of this hints at a crisis. Imagine a 13-year-old who is awakened in the middle of the night to be told by strangers that both his parents have died. He is suddenly an orphan. For as long as he can remember, his parents have been presences in his life, looking after him and guiding him, sometimes firmly, but always a benevolent protection against a world he is not yet ready to handle on his own. Now they are gone, and ready or not, he is thrust into that world alone. How does the young teen handle that transition? Culturally, Nietzsche says, we are like that young teenager. For as long as we can remember, our society has relied upon God the Father to look after us, to be a benevolent and sometimes stern guiding force through a difficult world. But suddenly we are orphaned. We wake up one morning to discover in our heart of hearts that our naively childhood religious beliefs have withered. So now, whether we like it or not, a question creeps into our minds. How do we face the prospect of a world without God or religion? Well, says Nietzsche, in the 19th century, most of us do not face that question well. Most people avoid the issue, sensing that even to raise it would be to enter dangerous territory. They sense that the game is up for religion, but out of fear, they shut down their minds and will themselves to believe that God is still out there somewhere. Life without religion is too scary to contemplate, so they retreat to a safety zone of belief and repeat nervously the formulas they have learned about faith. Now it is one thing, Nietzsche says, for a medieval peasant to have a simple-minded faith. But for us moderns, such a faith has a tinge of dishonesty about it. Slightly better to Nietzsche, but not much, are the socialists of the 19th century. Socialism is on the rise, and many socialists have thrown off the religion of their childhood, but only halfway. Most socialists will accept that God is dead, but then they are very concerned that the state take God's place and look after them. The mighty state will provide for us and tell us what to do and protect us against the mean people of the world. Think of it this way. The Judeo-Christian tradition says that this is a world of sin, in which the weak suffer at the hands of the strong, that we should all be selfless and serve God and others, especially the sick and the helpless, and that in a future ideal world, heaven, the lion will lay down with the lamb, and the inescapable power of God will bring salvation to the weak and judgment to the wicked. The Marxist socialist tradition says that this is a world of evil exploitation in which the strong take advantage of the weak, but that we should all be selfless and serve others, especially the needy, from each according to his ability, to each according to his need, and that the forces of history will necessarily bring about a future ideal world, eliminating all harsh competition, empowering the oppressed, and eliminating the evil exploiters. Both religion and socialism thus glorify weakness and need. Both recoil from the world as it actually is, tough, unequal, harsh. Both flee to an imaginary future realm where they can feel safe. Both say to you, be a nice boy, be a good little girl, share, feel sorry for the little people. And both desperately seek someone to look after them, whether it be God or the state. But where, asks Nietzsche, are the men of courage? Who is willing to stare into the abyss? Who can stand alone on an icy mountaintop? Who is willing to look a tiger in the eye without flinching? Such men exist. Every generation produces its occasional magnificent men, sparkling, vital men who accept easily that life is tough, unequal, unfair, and who welcome asserting their strength to meet the challenge. Those who have unbending wills against anything the world can throw at them. But such magnificent men are few and far between in the 19th century, and Nietzsche wonders why. And he looks back on past cultures where the magnificent men dominated. Strength was prized and inequality was a fact of life. Assertiveness and conquest were sources of pride. He names the Japanese feudal nobility as an example, with their samurai code of honor. The Indian Brahmins who rose up and imposed their caste system. The Vikings who raided ruthlessly up and down the European coast. The expansionist Arabs, and of course, the awesome Roman Empire. What explains this stark contrast? Why do some cultures rise to greatness and unabashedly impose their will upon the world, while other cultures seem apologetic and urge upon us a bland conformity?